Welcome back, family. I'm Joe.
And I'm Amani, and this is
Love Out Loud with the Dudes. How are you today, Mr. Du?
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic. So as always, we start with a prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for what you're doing and what you have done and what you are about to do. We thank you for allowing us to be the vessels that you use to spread your message, Lord. We thank you for bringing us back together, Lord. We thank you for everything that you have assigned to our lives. We ask that, as always, that they see us, but they hear you. We ask that the word not fall on their mind and just their ears, but it lands in their spirit and in their heart. And that they become doers of everything that they hear spoken through us. Amen. In the mighty name of Jesus, we give thanks and we say amen.
Amen.
So, we talked a lot about accountability. And early on in our engagement, you still had battles with taking accountability. Like, you would apologize, but like I told you, I need to hear that you was wrong. I need you to take ownership in it, because if not, then you just saying you sorry, don't do enough for me, because you don't really understand the wrong in what was done. So, and I'm going to tell you, for me, I'm going to tell you how I feel, why I feel this way, and I need you to take ownership of it, even if you don't necessarily agree, but I needed you to take ownership of it so you can then work to understand where I was coming from and perspective of you being right or wrong.
And I think it was more the wording of it, like that you feel this way going on the back end of it, because some things I just didn't register to me like that. So you would, feel a way about something that may or may not have registered to me that way. So a big part for me was being able to say, like, I apologize that you feel this way, or I made you feel that way from my actions. That was not my intention.
Right.
My intention was this, but I apologize that my words or actions made you feel that way. And then I will also be able to say what my intention was. And I think that helped us not only be able to communicate, but you be able to understand where I was coming from as well, so that we had less of those friction areas.
And what I realized is it's always not about the intention, because like I tell you all the time, I apologize when my intention. And just because the way I may have said or delivered something not necessarily mean that it landed. Mm-hmm. So in that, me telling you I feel this way based upon what you said or what you did, because it did not land the way you intended it to land. Mm-hmm. And so understanding that's why when you take ownership in it, that's the only way accountability works for me. Like, there has to be ownership. There has to be ownership. You have to say that it was wrong. I know what I did wrong, and I'm going to work to do better.
For sure. Now, how do I exhibit accountability now?
You even apologize quicker. It got to the point where it used to take you 2 days to apologize. Then I remember you was like, well, it's only taking me 4 hours now. And for me, she was like, it used to take me 2 days to apologize. Now it's only taking me 4 hours to see where I was wrong, which is growth.
That's growth.
I got to the point like, it shouldn't take you that long. If I'm telling you what's going on, what's wrong, and why is it taking you 4 hours? Now you got me in this space for 4 hours, and you know you're wrong.
Okay, I completely understand what you're saying. I'm somebody who had to learn that. I had to work my way to that. My life experiences, right? Some stuff I just didn't even let go of. Like, some stuff I didn't even forgive myself or other people for it. So now it's like, oh, okay, not only do I want you to do all that, I want you to do all that in 30 seconds. And I was like, like, I don't even know how to process that fast. I haven't even processed anything that fast. My process time is real slow. Like, I gotta break down, replay the situation, what happened, what I did, what they did, how I feel about it, how I'm gonna move going forward. And you like, yeah, I think you should just, move on right now. And I just was not in a place to do that at this moment. Now, was I open to growing and getting better and learning how to do it? Yes. But at that very moment, I'm like, it's been 2 days. Like, this is great progress for me. And you like, why are you not at the finish line already?
Yeah, because all of the stuff that you saying you had to do, a lot of that I already negated and took off your plate when I came to you and giving you what the issue was. I already told you how it made me feel. I already told you what you did. I already told you a lot of stuff that you need to process. It was already laid out in front of you.
Right, but that's your experience. Like, you're telling me your experience. This is how you made me feel. But now I have to go through what actually happened and how I intended it. I understand what you're saying is your experience. Like, this is how I feel about what you did. But on the other end of that coin, I'm like, well, how did you get that out of what I did? How did you get that out of what I intended to give you? So it wasn't just like, oh, I need to apologize right away. I'm like, I got to fully understand what I'm apologizing for, because in my heart, I don't feel like I did something to that extent of how you feel.
Right.
Not disrespecting your feelings, but I'm like, my intentions was not like that. Now you want me to apologize because something that I intended to do landed wrong in your world, which is fine. You're entitled to that. But really, my 2 days was me figuring out, okay, not only where did it go left, but how can I avoid it going left going forward? So when I come to you with an apology, it's because, okay, I understand where I was on the road, where I went off, and how I can try to avoid that situation in the beginning. I'm not always in a point of understanding that in the first 30 seconds. Even though you like, well, this is what you did and this is where it went wrong and this is how I feel. That's your experience. I'm not having that same experience. I'm understanding your experience from you voicing it to me. But when it actually happened and how I intended it and how you received it, I didn't have that same experience.
So how did you escalate from 2 days to... Like,
you're saying, like, how did I go faster in doing it? I have learned in me taking that 2 days to 4 hours to 30 minutes, I have learned how to communicate with you differently. So I'm like, okay, if I'm saying something like this and it's landing like this, all right, instead of me saying it like this, I need to say it like this. So not only do we have less situations like that, but if you bring something to me, I'm now able to say, okay, that's exactly where it went wrong. You heard this, I said this. Mm-hmm. So now I'm like, okay, going forward, when you say that, I need to say something different where you can hear me and now you're not offended and now I don't have to apologize for something else. So it really helped. I really had to break down where it was getting lost on my end. Mm-hmm. It wasn't personal. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just dragging this out. It was that before I come to you with an apology, I want to fully understand what I'm apologizing for, because I don't want to just keep apologizing over and over and over again. I want to have accountability and be able to own, like, when I say I apologize, I don't want us to walk down the same path again because I didn't fully understand, but I was just apologizing to appease you. So that's why when I said it's down to 4 hours, I'm thinking that's a great thing. Like, a process that would take me sometimes 2 weeks, got it down to 2 days, and now it's at 4 hours. I'm thinking you're going to see progress. You're going to see me getting better. And you were just like, why is it taking so long?
Because for me, I'm expressing to my partner that there's an issue. Mm-hmm. And instead of you just saying, okay, at least to hear me out, or ask me questions to figure out where the issue is, you taking it upon yourself to do all of this by yourself and then wonder why I'm mad. Because not only did I voice my frustration to you, I then told you what's going on, and you like, okay, instead of you saying, all right, babe, let's sit down and have a conversation about it so it can grow quicker, you decide to go do all this calculations in your head and then decide when you think you're ready to come with an apology. And I'm like, how is that even possible if you really want this to work and be resolved in a timely manner, because that's what I'm here for. If I'm coming to you with a problem that I'm expressing to you that you may have caused, and instead of you saying to me, well, how do you think I caused this problem, to get in context what's going on, you say, okay, well, that's what I heard what you said. Now I got to go figure out all this stuff on make sure that I'm right, even though my partner's telling me that I'm wrong. I gotta make sure if I'm wrong, how I'm wrong by myself. And I'm like, well, that now on top of that, it's been 2 days, so it's been 48 hours since I told you what my issue was, and I have yet to receive an apology because you gotta calculate where you went wrong.
Ooh, can I answer?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I don't see it like that. So when you come to me with a situation, you already give me the why. You give me the why, you give me the how you feel, you give me the where it happened. So you've already answered all of the questions I could possibly have. So for me, there's no additional conversation needed from me to you. My conversation is now with myself because that was not my intention. So something that I said or did upset you. And that was not my intention. And me having a relationship with you and learning how to communicate with you, I'm now backtracking the situation to figure out where it went left. Now, I never negated your situation or your issue or said, oh, it's not a big deal or get over it or anything like that. I never blew it off or swept it under the rug. I said, okay, give me some time to work this out. And I don't feel like that's a tall ask for someone who is trying to work their way to understanding and to not do the same thing again.
Agreed. But in that same sense too, what I think men need to hear is, in you taking that time to process, apologies to come with, I'm sorry, I apologize for how that made you feel. That wasn't my intention. That's an apology first.
That's exactly how my apologies come.
That's ownership. Now they do. Now, that's what I'm saying now, but I'm speaking to the fact when it didn't come that way. Mm-hmm. It's like, it needs to be that first. And then you could go do all that process and stuff in your head that's going to take you 48 hours or 30 days.
Yeah, because one thing that I would say is, on the other end, men don't have the same leisure for correction.
No. And that's good.
The conversation is expected to go a certain way when stuff is brought towards men, and they expect a certain response within the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, because we can't count on that on the other end, mm-hmm. It's hard to
voice it.
Yeah. It's like, because a lot of times I would say, and it's easier for women to come to men mm-hmm. to say what is the problem. Because they expect immediate correction. Immediate correction, because they know, like, they just hold the key to the relationship in that sense of like emotional and love and reciprocation in that sense.
See, I feel like it's open, because I feel like if I brought something to you and you was like, oh, well, that wasn't my intention, like, let me figure out where this went left, I would not be upset.
Right, but
I wouldn't be
also
mad at
voice
you.
That to you right there in that moment, that we would need more time to analyze.
And that's how I am. I'll voice it. Like, if you come to me with an issue, I'd be like, I was like before, mm-hmm. I was like, oh, okay, that's how you feel. I receive how you feel. Let me figure out where this went left. No, like, I wasn't.
But from the very moment that a woman brings that to you, it's like your whole day after that is planned to make her feel good and stuff like that.
Mine is too.
Where I feel like the women in general, mm-hmm. after they face that, they have like you said, the time period to go over their thoughts. And they might be mad at you.
Yeah.
Like, in not a way that they're expressing anger towards you, but their frustration with themselves causes you to ultimately feel that same exact.
And it suppresses how we feel as men, because
it makes you not want to come to
yes, because what happens is that women will, when you first tell them something, they may not come with an apology. They may come with a frustration, because how you gonna tell them about themselves whatever they did, because women think that they don't do wrong. So it's like when they come from that place, it's like, hey, I'm appalled that you can even come to me with something like this because I don't do anything wrong. This is why women have a hard time taking accountability, because they don't think they do anything wrong. So now it's from their standpoint to now you not really apologizing for not it being your intent, but the fact that I have an issue. Now you got to go figure out where you may have been wrong, because this ain't even something that you could compute that you are possibly wrong. So now all of this time has passed and this man has come to you voicing a frustration or something that he feels, him expressing his emotion that women say men don't do. And instead of you just saying, okay, babe, I apologize for how that came off, how that was delivered, how that was not my intent, and then work to do all these other things, they do none of that. And now it's like, okay, and then they had the audacity to be mad at you for coming to them with something. And then on top of that,
it's not the same type of, when we say they're angry at us, it's we see the frustration is with themselves.
Yeah.
But it's like the way they don't have any way to get it out. And what we're saying is, why is it something that you feel like angry about if we're telling you how we feel?
So we all can grow.
So, okay, first of all, this is not a women thing. Y'all keep saying women. It's not a women thing. It's not an all-encompassing everybody thing.
Great input, Divine.
I would say it is.
I mean, maybe the women you have experienced. Maybe the women you have experienced.
I would say the stories are, it's too many to necessarily say that. It's too consistent.
The ones you have experienced.
Yes, with the ones that I've experienced.
I'm going to say that. 2, I totally understand what you are saying. I totally get what you are saying. And this was a learning experience. This is something that I was not experienced at. This is something that I had to learn. And in learning, change does happen.
And I applaud you for the change.
In my intent, it was not my intent to make you feel like I did not care about your feelings. If I didn't care about your feelings, I would say something like, get over that, or that doesn't matter, or something like that. I would never say anything like that. But when you said that, oh, you got to decide if you even did something wrong. That's not what the case is. If you feel offense, something made you offended. So now I'm going to backtrack to where you got offended, because it was not my intent to offend you at any point. So if you got offended, you feel upset or something happened, that is what I'm trying to figure out. I'm not negating the situation or even trying to figure out if I'm innocent in the matter. It's just trying to figure out, like, okay, where did the communication break free or get lost? And when we were newly engaged, we were still trying to figure out how to communicate.
Agreed.
So I wasn't about to just keep apologizing for you for things that I didn't even feel like I understood what I was apologizing for. Because before I apologize, I want to understand what I did in me. I feel like an apology is a error if the person does not understand what they're apologizing for, because they could do the same behavior again because they don't really understand what happened.
Right.
Even though you're telling me what your experience was, that wasn't my experience. And if I don't understand how my experience transferred to being your experience, if I don't understand what brought that on, I could make a mistake and do it again.
Agreed.
Then it feels like behavior.
Exactly.
Then it feels like character, because you're like, why do you keep apologizing and doing the same thing? But I'm only apologizing to appease you because you feel like, because you said you were upset about something, I need to give you an apology right now. But I have to fully understand what I am apologizing for in order to have changed behavior. So, and you bringing to me what you feel like upset you or you feel like set you off, if I did not intentionally do something for you, I need to recap where it went left so that I can fully understand what it is, so that when I apologize, I can make sure that it don't happen again. That's why the things that I've apologized to you for has not re-happened. It hasn't reappeared.
And I agree, but this is why, like, when I say that women don't know how to talk to a man, it's because some of them don't if they didn't have a father in their life. Because the way you had to process these things, I'm telling you as a man, that is foul, out of bounds, out of line. and you like, I have to figure out where it went wrong for me, and you may not even have been able to compute in your mind that that was wrong because it's who you've always been. And I'm like, I'm putting all of it on the table for you to show you where it went left. And if it's not something that you are comfortable or familiar with, then you would never see the wrong. And for me, I'm like, if I'm gonna come to you, I'm gonna come to you with the issue, and all the ways in which it was wrong, so you can apologize for that, because it's as me being your partner, I'm like, okay, these are the things that's bothering me. Now you can then go into prayer and figure out how did this happen to you, and to that point to where you can work to be better with yourself. But for me, that's why I worked on my communication, because I try to put it all on the table for you, so there's no gray space, because I realize in gray area it leaves too much room for interpretation. So let me tell you exactly what it is. And I really believe that Apple scenario we had at the grocery store really helped us with our communication. But that's why I do all of those things, because no matter how you feel in your mind, me as a person that love you, that's your partner, if I'm expressing my feelings to you, then it should be acknowledged. And some women don't know how to do that, because then they go into a point where they get on the defense and be like, well, you did this to me, or you did this to me, and I ain't say nothing when you did this. And that negates the accountability part.
And that we talked about early on. So like we didn't have that issue. We didn't do that.
Right. You just didn't say anything because you needed to go process the stuff.
It's not that I didn't say anything. I said I understand what you're saying and that you feel offended, because I did understand that. But I don't know, like,
I feel like it maybe should have been multiple apologies. I think if that's the way you process stuff, it needs to be, I hear you, I apologize for that and this and this and this and this. And then you work to go figure out where that energy that presented itself came from to make you do whatever said action happened. And once you realize you were wrong on that aspect too, work to be better with change behavior and apologize for that, because now you understand. But at least apologize first for what I'm telling you that was an issue for me. Because as a man, if you come to me with a problem or something that I've done, I can't say, oh, I see how that makes you feel. And then be like, okay, and then that be in the conversation, and then go figure out what made me do all of these things, and then come to you with an apology.
Why not?
Because as a woman, you're going to storm off and say, you don't care about my feelings. I'll come at you for this.
That's not true.
That is a fact. That is a fact.
Me,
because
though.
I'm not acknowledging your feelings. I'm not acknowledging how you came to me, because all I said was,
That's not me, though. I feel like y'all speaking from a very general place, and I'm speaking about me. That's not me. That's not how I would react in that situation. That's not me.
Is it how you reacted before? Yes.
About other things.
It's the same thing in totality, because you expressing, and then if I don't come to a point of understanding your frustration of what you expressing, then I do not care. It goes all the way to the extreme. But on the other,
I don't feel like that.
On the other end of that spectrum, when it's the opposite way around, a man's supposed to just be like, all right, it is what it is. She gonna come around when she come around, and that's just what it gotta be. But it does not. But that's a whole nother conversation, because everybody want to talk about everything being equal. But when it's time for things to be equal with accountability, people don't. Not you, because you've grown, but like just people just don't. Women don't fully understand that. I'm proud of how far you've come, like, because it's like night and day. Like, I believe our communication, as us expressing the issue, expressing how it made us feel, expressing that the intent behind it, and then understanding too that when you know it's coming from a place of love, it's received differently, I think has helped us.
Yeah, and it wasn't personal. Like, I felt like, and just hearing y'all responses to that, I felt like y'all felt it would be personal, like, oh, I'm bringing something to you and you're not receiving
how else
that,
is you supposed to receive it?
I'm telling you, this is my experience, so I'm telling you how I was delivering it. I'm letting you know now that I'm hearing how it was landing to you, but I'm telling you how it was coming off from me. It was not like I don't want to see you or hear you or I'm negating your feelings. It was not like that. If I was to say that for me, because I always had bite back and had mouth, I would have said something that was mean or disrespectful or vulgar. So I'm not doing that. I'm just letting you know I understand what you're saying. I hear you. I'm not downplaying how you feel at all. I'm not downplaying how you feel at all. I am just trying to figure out where it went left. And I apologize that you feel offended or upset or any of that.
That's what we saying, like the apology on the right then, like just not later.
Yeah.
Because I would say also it's more so than anything women understanding their specialty that they have when it comes to their communication with men, especially black men. Because when they do hold you in that esteem to where they respect you and your word is law, becomes law to them. So if you don't acknowledge their hurt when they're coming to you, and they're coming from a respectful place, and if they are presented to you in a respectful manner, they would like to receive some type of, just like yesterday when you guys said, if you're going to tell somebody when they're doing something wrong, you got to be able to tell someone when they're doing something right. In that moment, you should be able to tell that person, I appreciate you for coming to me in this way. Like, and being able to express it in a way where you didn't come with me with anger, or disrespect.
I mean, and I think that's an added thing too, because the delivery had to be there as well.
But I agree, but like you also made a statement like where you would have had bite back and a mouth, right? I think also too, like women have to understand that if you all the way here with the bite back and the being on the attack mode because you always feel like you're being attacked, and then being here where everything is lovey and you understand that, you can't always go, well, I'm no longer all the way left, because at some point the median has to change to where you like, okay, that's no longer in my repertoire no more, and I'm now here, but this isn't as good as it could possibly be either.
And it takes time and growth, and I think it has to be you understanding your person and who you are with too, because if your person has never been exposed to these concepts or these things or these ways to communicate, you coming to them and being like, well, this is how I feel and you should feel, like they're not going to know what to do with that. I'm working to not offend you, right? I don't want to belittle you, make you feel less than, or make you feel like I don't appreciate what you're saying, but I'm trying to figure out like the other end of it too. And it was not an intention to be disrespectful. It was like, and I understand what you're saying about there has to be a move and a middle ground, but there has to be a move. It's not going to be from all the way over here to all the way over here, because that person still got things that they got to work out mentally as to how it can get from here to here.
Agreed.
And that is you knowing your person, and that is you giving time and communication too, because they may not be from here to here.
It's grace.
They may not be from here. And it's guys too. This goes on both sides of the...
Yeah, but I think more men... I think men are more likely to apologize before women. Men, not niggas. Men. Because we understand what we have and the way that the woman, the wife, is treasure. And we know that we'll just get over it more quicker than the woman would. And that's what really leads to like a lot of our frustration, because we got to quickly get over stuff even though we don't feel like it's resolved. And I think if more men was to have this conversation, it will open up more vulnerability for us to really speak freely, so women can really understand when their spouse is trying to say something, or what they are saying is really this, so they can learn more. I think this was a great conversation, because it would,
for sure,
it changes the dynamic of how people speak to each other.
And I had to learn it too. It wasn't this wasn't something that I was exposed to or I knew how to do. So
And I just
I
only
was
knew.
doing the best that I knew how to do until I learned how to do better.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, oh, I'm about to jump and be mean or disrespectful. It's like, well, I'm trying to figure this out too, along as we trying to figure it out together.
Agreed. Because we both grown a lot, and we gonna continue to grow. So, I'm talking like I tell you all the time. I'm grateful for you. I really truly am.
I'm grateful for you too, boo.
You make it as excuse me. You make it as easy as it could possibly be.
I know y'all hear all this. Y'all like, I went through all that, but like, I mean, this, we
committed. Like all of this, it becomes easier when your partner is committed. Because it's work, but they have to be committed to the work, to the assignment. Like we are committed to each other to help each other grow and learn and be fruitful. Like that's the mission. So.
And us both learning how to apologize faster and moving forward and compromise and all of those things.
Yeah.
For the greater good.
And working and not have to do stuff that you gotta apologize for. So
that too.
That's a whole nother lesson.
That
like,
too.
In a sense, to keep apologizing for different things. Just work to know, oh, I know she's not gonna like this, or I know she need this, or I know he need that.
That's one thing I wanted to touch on before y'all go. Because a lot of things, I feel like, one thing is like, when you're around somebody, I would say that's a more important time to be accountable is when you're noticing the other person feeling a certain way before they bring it to you. And then making the change as well. Because I feel like once you're already in your emotions in any type of way, whether the person is already frustrated and stuff, and they might not want to come to the person, if the other person is already willing to like, and they picking up on the patterns, noticing what's going on with the other person, being able to speak out before there's like the person has to come and say, because I feel like you can notice, you should be able to notice how your person is
upset, for sure. I mean, that comes in relationship and that comes in time. You know when your person is having a good day and you know when they pissed off.
I would say for the video, what advice would you give in that scenario for somebody if they wanted to approach somebody, if they feel like they may have been doing something wrong, but they don't want to just come out and just be like, I'm wrong, or because they don't know. How would you deal with that? You see your significant other acting a little funny.
I say ask them. Ask them, like, hey, you look a little off, like, is something wrong? I think it's great to open up that dialogue to get them to speak about what's going on. Or if you know what's going on, I think you should just come out and apologize for it, whatever it is that's going on, and just work to do better or work to do something to, change the mood, make them smile. Like, I mean, you do have to take accountability and ownership for what happened. But once you do that, I mean, work as quickly as possible to move forward and make them smile. I feel like life is too short to be stuck in the moments where we're all upset. I mean, it's natural. It's going to happen. People are going to do things you don't like. But I think spending less time in those moments is very important, and working to move forward as quickly as possible. Like, we move forward pretty quickly.
Yeah. So for me, I ask questions. My first question I ask is, what's wrong with you? And I most likely gonna get a nothing. But that's another thing too. Women, stop saying nothing when something is bothering you. We are not mind readers. Say what's on your mind. So then that comes to my second question. If I ask what's wrong with you and you say nothing, I ask what's on your mind, what you thinking about. Because if you feel as though there is nothing wrong with you, then what are you thinking about? Let me into your mind, into your thoughts. So now when those are projected outward, I can now decide and figure out what is the issue and help resolve the issue. Because at the end of the day, we are together. So the longer you stay mad and frustrated or angry or whatever emotion you want to call it, it's like the longer you're not happy. So let's get it out. Like, we have a rule in our house. We have to say it aloud. There's no reason you should be in the house with your helpmate and all things and you do not say it aloud. There is no reason you should be keeping whatever's going on in your mind with a helpmate, whether that is idea, whether that's frustration, whether that is
house issues, bills,
whatever,
work stuff,
whatever,
life, family,
whatever, goals, whatever
health.
you want to reach, whatever. They say it out loud. Like, you are at home with your helpmate. Let them be a help to you. You have to learn how to receive help.
For sure.
You have to learn how to receive help, because if you don't receive the help, well, what are they there for? Just the companionship? You can do that somewhere else. Utilize the help in its fullest entirety so you can get all of what you need to get out of it.
And open your mouth and let them know what you need, whether that's an apology, whether that's changed behavior, whether that's more attention, whether that's less, whether that's help around the house, whether that's whatever you need. Open your mouth and communicate it and let that person be able to help and assist you as well. And that's a helpmate.
Discuss your love language as well. Before we go, I'm gonna say that too, because your love language, what it used to be, may be something different now. So discuss the love language so you guys can still be on the same page. Because from the conversation we had recently, there are people who are exercising love language that their partner no longer
has expired.
So that's a thing in itself. So have the conversation. I no longer desire that. I would like this. And
be open to your partners changing as well. And if you're not getting the same reaction, ask questions, because their love language may have changed. The things that they used to like, especially if you've been together for a while, they may change over and over and over again. So the things that they used to like, they may not like anymore. So be open to that too. Because as you grow and as you develop together, you will become different versions of yourself over and over again.
And it does help y'all. Let us know how much. Our Cash App is going to be linked in the description. Our Push pay is going to be linked as well. If this really helped y'all, if these videos helped y'all to learn and grow, let us know how much. We would greatly appreciate it.
We will.
As always, turn your post notifications on so you know when we go post videos. Follow us on social media. Like and subscribe.
And share to someone who needs to see this video as well. If we can help someone else in any way, just from our experiences and the things that we've been through. And if this video has been a help to you as well, share it with someone else.
And then you also make sure you comment and let us know below how y'all feel, because we would love to hear from you all. As always, if you allow Wilson to be your tutor, you do not have to continue to be taught through experiences. It's been great with y'all today. Love from the Deuce.
Peace.